had a busy week, so I didn't really comment much on the Kathy Griffin, Donald Trump saga. It kind of seems like it's a little overblown to me. And I've said a few times, I said when there was the original controversy over the photo, that Kathy Griffin, to me, will always only be the annoying comic from Seinfeld that her whole act was about how much she hates Jerry Seinfeld and whatever, and that it was an episode that was funny and how annoying she is. And this is somebody who's based her entire career on making her annoying personality into a novelty. So it's ironic that she's been trying to use Donald Trump, who grates on some other people's nerves, in order to boost her own profile. And the tremendous backfire that's resulted from it has been a classic case of somebody who flew way too close to the sun. What happens here is simply somebody who believes that Donald Trump is a celebrity and she's a celebrity, and therefore if she criticizes him, it's as if she's punching in her own weight class. It's not the case anymore. It probably wasn't the case back when neither of them was in politics, or Donald Trump wasn't in politics. Okay, Donald Trump has always been of an order of magnitude a little higher than other celebrities, simply because of his wealth and power. It's the way it is. He's been able to help people's careers. He's been able to ruin people's careers. It's not something that I mean, I'm not saying that he should ruin people's careers, but I mean, given the circumstances, in some cases, people deserve it. Rosie O'Donnell definitely deserved it when she opened a feud by criticizing Donald Trump for helping one of his beauty pageant winners. I'm not going to say that Donald Trump is free he's above criticism, because obviously he said a lot of retarded things. He's gone and put his foot in his mouth plenty of times. But what happened over the past couple years is nothing short of if you've ever seen in Transformers, when they go into beast mode, Donald Trump's celebrity status has gone into beast mode as he's taken on a political persona. So Kathy Griffin, I think, still believed, oh, I could just take pot shots at him because he's a celebrity like me, even though he's president and now he's a politician, and plenty of people will support me. No, she went and just did a photo shoot that was, people didn't like it. I personally was not offended by it. I just have always thought Kathy Griffin's an idiot. So I didn't really care. I was like, ha. This is it's basically like watching somebody just drive into a ditch. I'm not offended by it in the least. I've seen plenty of scare comedy and shock rock and Rob Zombie and Korn in my life. I'm not offended by it. It's not. I don't support it, but I'm not offended by it. And her whole press conference was something to behold, in the area of hubris and just not really getting that you've said enough already, and if you shut the fuck up, maybe you'll get out of this without any more damage to your career, as if you haven't done enough already. I think, well, at a certain point, maybe she decided, I've already destroyed my career, maybe I can get some sort of damages out of it. When you start the whole problem, when you begin a feud with somebody and take a personal shot at them, you don't get to demand damages based on the results. Okay, that's not how it really works. And she hired an attorney that is notorious for really, taking on dubious cases that don't really have any they're often based on the flimsiest of pretenses, of bases, I guess you would call them. Gloria Allred's daughter. These are the same people that they supported or they represented the Trump rape accusers last year, none of whom have actually gone to trial. In fact, a couple of the suits have been thrown out of court. So what do you expect? So let's dig in a little to the press conference. Okay, so here you see Kathy Griffin in her, whatever the fuck look she's going for as a carrot-topped shrunken hag, trying to hold a press conference where she's at the same time keeping her apology for her bizarre photo shoot, while at the same time, taking shots at the president's family, saying that they're attacking her. I think most people don't really care anymore because you are already annoying to begin with. Nobody likes you, Kathy Griffin. So why are you like begging for sympathy here? But let's see what she has to say.
People want, a joke that's out there and a little crazy. So regarding the image that I participated in, that apology absolutely stands. I feel horrible. I have performed in war zones. The idea that this, made people think of this tragedy, to have been touched by this tragedy, is horrifying and is horrible. Trust me, if I could redo the whole thing, I would have had a blow-up doll and no ketchup. I make mistakes. I'm an out-there comedian. I'm an in-your-face comedian. But I just wanted to say, if you don't stand up, you get run over. And what's happening to me has never...
Well, you kind of stood up and really got run over there when you made a photo shoot where you basically acted like a moron. And it's not even comedy. That's the difference, okay? I'll explain that part of my position in a couple minutes.
Ever happened, ever, in the history of this great country, which is that a sitting president of the United States and his grown children and the First Lady are personally, I feel, trying to ruin my life forever. Forever. You guys know him. He's never going to stop. I know him.
So this is her making it all about her when she took a shot at him. Look, if you would have landed, let's say you would have made a brilliant stand-up special just trashing Donald Trump. I mean, Bill Maher trashes Donald Trump all the time, and Stephen Colbert too, and they both take very liberal, if you pardon the expression, they take liberal license with how they express their contempt for Donald Trump. That you would have had a fan base. What you did do was not the same thing. What you did was attack him in a graphic way and almost in a threatening manner, and it's not funny because it's just, I don't get the joke. I'm not saying that it's something that I find offensive. Again, I said that before. I don't find it offensive. I don't see the joke there. I don't see why people are supposed to be amused. And I think the majority of people have already shown that they don't like you personally anyway. You're just not that good of a comic.
Ever. You guys know him. He's never going to stop. I know him. Let me talk to like a camera like I'm talking to him. And I might make a couple jokes because I'm super nervous. Everyone's pointing to their camera. I'll just...
You might make a couple jokes because you're trying to actually boost your career still. You still think that you have a career to save. Otherwise, you would really understand the gravity of the situation and you would behave in a more serious and professional manner. Instead, what you're doing is you're showing how insincere you are by attacking the very person you attacked to begin with, that you apologized for in the first place. Nobody's taking this seriously anymore. It's just the press conference itself and all the other fallout is the joke. What you did to begin with was not really a joke because it's just not that funny.
This one. All right, I'll sort of look in this direction. All right, so I know him. All right, so the Donald, it's me, the Kathy. And if you guys don't know this, if you meet him, he wants you to call him the Donald, which I've always thought was the weird. And I remember...
Well, nobody's ever heard that before. Nobody's ever heard that he likes calling himself the Donald. And I mean, your little pun takeoffs on it, they're so original too. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, okay, nice try. Next one.
For saying to him the first time, okay, I'm the Kathy, and then went right over his nest. Okay, that was a joke about his hair, but I have seen eggs in it. Like, I think I've seen, allegedly, I am teasing the president because this is America, and you shouldn't have to die for it. The death threats that I'm getting are constant, and they are detailed, and they're serious, and they're specific. And today it's me.
Yeah, people are giving you death threats because you're fucking annoying and nobody likes you. And to be honest with you, you picked the most high profile stage against a person who has such a crazy following, and now you're complaining at the backlash. Nobody liked you before this. It's not as if we're talking about two people of the same status here. But Donald Trump has always been a multi-billionaire or whatever. He's been mega rich his entire life, if not a multi-billionaire. And you've always been an annoying comic who had a few bits on Seinfeld and a number of other shows that you were never the real main attraction. You were a character actor. So let's dispense with this notion that you're talking to him on an equal level. Nobody likes you, and you're actually digging yourself a deeper hole.
And tomorrow it could be you. So, yeah, I'm an obnoxious comedian. I'm not the most famous person in the world. I'm just standing here with Lisa. I have an amazing First Amendment attorney, Alan Isaacman. If you're not familiar with his work, he won the landmark case, The People versus Larry Flint. I believe so passionately about.
Well, having a First Amendment attorney is kind of ironic, since nobody said that you can't say what you want to say. It's just the reaction that you got isn't the reaction you wanted. And because of that, you lost your job at CNN, and nobody wants to see you on stage anymore because you're just annoying and very irritating. People don't want to see people in person that have obnoxious personalities like what you just described. And what you did was break this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I can believe that some people wanted to see you back, a few months ago or whatever, but this is the end of comedy, because when you focus on only one topic, when everybody's focus is always on Donald Trump, then that's not really comedy anymore, because the same joke can't be funny every fucking time. That's the way. Unfortunately, there is a president that does disprove that. Bill Clinton, there were a ton of great Clinton jokes, but even that got old. Okay, people couldn't keep making Clinton jokes. 4 or 5 years on, after he'd been caught having oral sex with or getting oral sex from Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office. Eventually, those Monica jokes wore out. Eventually, they came back in style for a brief moment. Usually connected to his wife's political campaigns. But people get tired of the same joke. Okay, and now you've been recycling other people's jokes, Kathy, and you happen to do one that went way beyond the preferred pale of how people discuss things in this country, and people took exception to that and attacked you. So instead of acting like, taking personal responsibility for it, basically all you're doing now is playing the victim.
If I don't stand up and say this, I'm afraid there's going to be some 12-year-old nerdy girl like me in Forest Park, Illinois, who's going to maybe be watching me to see what I do. And this bully and this president, of all people, is going to come after me? He picked the wrong redhead. And he's sort of a redhead, although it's sort of like a parfait cup sometimes. I mean, there's like a red and then like a yellow, and I don't know. I think Melania does a lot of nice and easy. I don't know, but maybe she doesn't. The point, I digress. So that's what I do, you guys. I improvise. I try jokes. My mouth is really dry because I'm so nervous. But
See, this is why you can't take somebody seriously. Look, if you were on stage doing a comedy bit, people would really take this. There's a time for doing your comedy bit, going on stage, and there's a time for dealing with the real issues in life, and you can't distinguish the two, okay? What you did when you made that photo shoot, a lot of people didn't interpret that as comedy. They interpreted it as social commentary, okay? Now, I happen to be somebody who believes that if you go up on stage as a stand-up comic, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You know, Jim Jeffries is one of my favorite comedians. He's a huge anti-Trump guy, and people, you know, he's been taking a lot of flack for it, but to be fair, he goes and uses it in his comedy act, which I think is okay. On the other hand, there's other people that they've tried their hand at using their political views in comedy before, and you know, they end up taking major hits for it. Here's one, for example, from 2012.
And I voted for the guy and I'm a Democrat. What a fucking asshole. The rich don't pay their taxes. Let me tell you something, right? First they say to you, you're dead broke. The United States of America, you can do anything you want. Go for it. So then you go for it, and then you make it, and everyone's like, fuck you. What the fuck is that? You just said go for it. He himself is the perfect example. He's amazing. He had nothing. He had no father. He was, you know, a mixed race, which is a burden. And don't kid yourself, you know, growing up like that. And no money, and the guy ends up being at Harvard. He's the president of the United States.
And you're like, fuck you.
And now he's like, fuck me. And everyone who made it like me, it's like, you know, you have to work your ass off, you know.
Yeah.
If I make $1, and out of every dollar I'm taxed at half at 50 cents I have to give, isn't that like enough?
Yes.
So for every dollar you make, $2 you have to give $1 back. No, that's not right. No, you're not paying enough. It's half.
Yeah, I feel you. I pay
half.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, the rich people have all these deductions. Well, everyone in this room has the same deductions. You just didn't learn about it. But you have the exact same deduction. Did you drive a car? Do you take it to work? Deduct it.
Hey.
Do you eat at lunch? Deduct it.
Stop yelling at the 99%.
It's my club.
Yeah, but don't burn it down, man. Occupy Lovitz.
Oh, yeah, and then, so I take my hard-earned money and I open a club. Now all of you are here. Fuck me. Hello? It's ridiculous.
The Secret Service is now up looking for you. Did they come and talk to you? Secret Service?
No.
Well, you made some threats against the president.
No, I didn't make any threat.
No?
No.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh, you called him a name.
Yes. Because he's lying.
About taxes.
He's saying that people in a certain tax bracket don't pay their fair share.
I mean, come on, okay? Kathy Griffin, if you make a joke, I'm sorry also if I've noticed that the audio, if I'm recording video on screen, is kind of, you know, loud and so, kind of echoey too. So I apologize. I don't know better ways. If you have a better way to do it, please comment below. I'd be very interested in it. But look, Jon Lovitz was a great comic a long time ago. He's not great anymore, but he had some amazing. He had a show called The Critic. That was probably one of the better shows of the early '90s. Didn't last very long, but it was pretty smart and up there. And this is a real comedy legend. He was on Saturday Night Live in the Chris Farley era, and basically this is how you do it. Okay, Kathy Griffin, you can do it. There's tons of comics who do it. Amy Schumer has been hitching her career to it lately. The rest of her comedy blows. All you have to do is you stay topical and you be kind of cutting towards the reasons why you hate Donald Trump instead of holding a severed head of his on video or severed effigy of his. And you know, Jon Lovitz had to deal with this, but he actually made a point, and his point was he doesn't feel appreciated by a president he supports. This is somebody who was attacked by, you know, the media for just expressing his views, and this is somebody who supported President Obama. Let's see if there's a few more tidbits from his interview with Dr. Drew on Headline News.
share of taxes. It's not true. 47% of the country doesn't pay any taxes because they can't afford it and they have deductions.
Right.
So you have, in a certain, what is it, $250,000 and more, or more, you have a 35% federal tax. Then in California, where I live, you have another 11%. That's 46%. You have property tax. You have city tax. You have FICA. You have sales tax.
So what I hear is you're a fat
And then you
cat.
have
You're a fat
deductions.
cat and you're complaining. What you're saying?
No, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about the taxes I pay. What I don't like is him saying that those people in that category who came from nothing and worked hard and made something of themselves are now, they're not paying their fair share of taxes, and it's like the 1% versus the 99%.
Got it.
And it's like a class warfare.
He's creating
a class warfare in a country where there is no class structure. Anybody can go from being broke to being wealthy, and all the friends that I have that are really way beyond me, billionaires, came from nothing.
Yeah. And that's what's great about this country. Right.
And almost everybody who does, you ask, how did you succeed? They said, I didn't have anything. And I had to work really, really hard. And you have to sacrifice everything. Yeah. You have to have a regular job for 8 hours a day. Yeah. Then the other 8 hours, you're going to school, like me, you're pursuing acting, you're doing all these things. And I voted for Obama. I'm a Democrat. And I also said he's amazing, what he's achieved in his own life.
Yeah, yeah.
Which it is.
Yeah.
But then he's like saying, okay, and now, to hell with people like me and everyone else. And he's just, to me,
you voted for him.
So, yes, I did.
So, okay, that's only one example of what I'm talking about. And this was in the case of Barack Obama, in case you couldn't take the hint. Look, you can criticize a president legitimately. There were plenty of people who criticized President Bush. Green Day made a fucking album that was all about hating President Bush. The American Idiot album, if you don't remember. It got fucking Grammys. Okay? Incubus, a band that I actually hate Green Day, but I love Incubus. And they also made an album that was basically all about trashing George Bush, which is fine. Okay? And I also did not vote for Bush anyway. So, look, if you don't like Donald Trump, it's fine to make comedy that is attacking him or attacking his policies, even attacking the way he looks. But what she did was deliberately provocative. And what does it mean to be provocative? What it means is that you are trying to elicit a certain response from people. And in many ways, you're looking for a negative response. Okay? In the actual press conference, Kathy Griffin's lawyer says this.
Many male artists have created far more disturbing imagery. A Marilyn Manson music video shows him beheading a Trump figure. The band Municipal Waste has an image of Trump with a bloody gunshot to his head on a band t-shirt. The band GWAR has had violent images like this for president after president for years. They're all just considered bad boys.
Okay, so let me comment on that. You are claiming to be a comic, and what they are doing, first of all, it's called GWAR, okay? And it doesn't matter if they're male or not, or, female, or, all the other different fucking flavors that have been made up in the past couple months. That's what is the difference between being a musician and being a comedian, because Marilyn Manson can make songs that are sensationalist, they're shock rock and whatever, and people have come to expect it from him because he's been deliberately against social conventions since the beginning of his career, and to an extreme. He's an extreme performance artist. I don't like Marilyn Manson, by the way. I'm actually not a fan of his. GWAR, I do like a couple of their songs. They're pretty out there too. But that's shock rock, okay? You can't compare shock rock to comedy. First of all, comedy has to be funny. Shock rock just has to be provocative and shock people, as the name implies. So this woman just doesn't get entertainment, okay? And she's attributing sexism to this. No, you can be edgy and provocative and be a female performer too. I mean, look at Miley Cyrus. Her act is completely edgy and frankly, I don't think most people don't think it's appropriate because she does it in front of young adolescents. You know, that she's being deliberately tasteless and disgusting in front of younger audiences than shock rockers. Okay, so that's one of the reasons people object to it. But she's still very successful, and in fact, she's never been rejected by anybody from the mainstream press. Okay, and people don't call for Miley Cyrus to be banned, even though her music is not exactly the most talented thing coming out. In general, pop music has been very provocative and anti-tradition in the past few years. If you look at Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, and all those other ones, and they've been attracting plenty of positive press. But that's not comedy. Comedy has to be something that attracts people on a cognitive level. People have to understand that it's funny, and this just wasn't funny. It was stupid. It was retarded, and that's about it. These people, the Trump objectors, the so-called resistance, they can't get enough of their own punishment, they want to be able to comment and give their own opinion and then expect no consequences. No, that's not how comedy works. That's not how entertainment works. If you want to be provocative, then you have to accept the definition of what provocative is. Okay, let's show you what the definition is. Okay, this was pretty easy. Provocative, adjective, intended to cause a reaction, especially anger or annoyance, or to force you to think more carefully about something. Or if behavior or clothing is provocative, is likely to cause sexual desire. So those are a couple of different takes on the word provocative. Obviously, if you were looking at the Kathy Griffin clip and you did feel sexual desire, I have all the hope for your mental healing and wish you well. But if you accept the general definition for what provocative means, you understand that she basically got what she was asking for, and I don't have any sympathy for her. So that's the end of this. This is Ramon, Bull Like a Leopard. And tell me what you think. I've also posted another video on my Facebook of some black guy's reaction to it. And, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be seeing you tomorrow.